live and active today. Rorshax in the building. How we doing, man?
Man, it's all good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Man, there's so much to cover, bro. But look, let's get the basics out the way. Tell the people who you are really quick.
All right, Rorshax. This was a character that I came up with based off of the character from Watchmen. And I shortened up the name because I figured the other one was a little bit too complicated. And that was his was based off of the Inkblot test, the psychological test. And I really identified strongly with that character when it came out because I was seeking justice, in like the 9/11 truth movement at the time and stuff like that. And the guy died for trying to tell the people the truth. And that's something that always resonated with me. And so when it came time for me to make music, the name Rommel, which is my real government name, is a little bit kind of like controversial in its own because that was the name of some kind of Nazi general from World War II. When in fact I'm half white. My dad's from Pakistan. He's brown as hell, and my mom's like a white redhead who's British descent. And so that's why I have brown hair, black eyebrows, red beards. I'm all mixed up.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, man. I mean, I know it's kind of complicated. My life is very complicated, but yeah, I came up with Rorshax for that. And a lot of the subject matter in my music is based off of, my thoughts and feelings towards whether it's personal, government corruption, just injustices all around. Now, that's not the only thing I talk about. I talk about gambling addictions, just madness, and I just have a good time. Ultimately, that's what it's all about, is having a good time, getting people amped, giving them something to look forward to. When they see the name, they know they're going to have an experience.
Okay. I mean, you at least capture the essence of hip hop because you're using because ultimately hip hop is creatively using your freedom of speech. When you think back of groups like Public Enemy and stuff,
Yeah.
they go back, fight the power, that's what we were doing. So, I mean, you at least capture the essence of hip hop, and that's really respectable. You know what I mean? But we'll get to that later. Just tell the people for now, where are you from?
So right now I'm living in Leavenworth County, Kansas, right smack dab in the middle of America.
Right.
I'm seriously the center point from everything in the continental U.S., forgetting Hawaii and Alaska in that sense. But yeah, man, I was born in New Jersey, lived there till I was about 8, moved to Kansas City, Missouri, then I moved to Kansas City, Kansas, that kind of area, where I am right now. Then, my parents split, and I was getting put into an alternative school in high school because I kept failing everything and just, misbehaving all the time and skipping school and all that stuff. And my dad was like, well, here, just send him to me. I was 17. So come live with me. We'll straighten everything out, and get you going. Well, I went over there and just got my GED straight away and started going to work. I worked at a Sbarro Italian eatery. People would always compliment my pizzas when the higher up in managements and everything came in. They said I made the best pizza. Yeah. So anyway, I can't do it now. But yeah, man, ended up getting in a big argument and fight with my dad. So I stole his car and joined the army. Went away for 5 years, military police. Went to Korea right after basic AIT, 1 station unit training. So it was basic, and then your advanced. Basic training gets you in the army. Advanced individual training gets you in the Army's career field that you've chosen or were chosen for you. And then they wrapped all that into one. So I was gone at Fort Leonard Wood for 5 straight months. Got out of there, went to Camp Casey, South Korea, stayed there for a year, then got sent to Fort Bliss, stayed there for 3.5 years. So now I was just racing cars and shooting guns, man. I was living the life. It was awesome, man. Yeah, then my dad and I made up, and then so I went back to New York, and I lived there for about 5.5 years in Queens. And man, I was just couldn't freaking take it anymore, man. I just the stress. So I was looking to get out of New York City, and so I applied to a bunch of different jobs. At this time, I'm in the Army Reserve, and I told my dad, I was the first place that hires me, I'm out. And the first place that hired me was the Federal Bureau of Prisons in Oklahoma City, the Federal Transfer Center. Because when I was in Korea, there was another guy that went to go over there and started working over there and told me it was great. And so I looked up, freest states in the union. New York was in the bottom 50 when it came to personal and economic liberty. Like Oklahoma was in like the top 5. And New York, one of the reasons I wanted to get out was because I was trading cryptocurrency at the time. This is 2011. And no, I'm sorry, that was 2015 going into 2016. They had banned cryptocurrency trading. Like, I got friends that became millionaires, and New York at the time just banned it. But Oklahoma doesn't give a crap about anything, dude. They're just like, yeah, do whatever you want. And so I had a bunch of guns in New York, and had a Pontiac GTO because I totaled the Camaro pulling out of a KFC. I got T-boned by this guy who was driving a minivan. He wasn't paying attention. It was a Chinese dude yelling at pedestrians, hit me when I was in the middle of the road. So that was a loss. But I had a Pontiac 2005 Pontiac GTO, and the way that it's built, because I was, oh man, I'm gonna cut out some details over here, okay? But anyway, the way that it was built was the gas tank was behind the passenger seat, the rear passenger seat, so you couldn't turn them down. So I just unbolted the passenger seat, put everything right there, and sold the passenger seat for $50 and just went to Oklahoma, just like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And so from there, I moved back up. I transferred over to USP Leavenworth and had that infamous resignation letter where I said, I am hereby officially resigning so I could focus on my rap album.
You told them
I was
that?
gone. Yeah, I got it written down. I put it on Instagram. Yeah, I have the document. I'll send it to you. I'll send you a copy.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, now that was a horrible decision. I was on new medication. So that's a whole different story, man, and this is going to take time. But yeah, dude, I had a friend that was working with me in the prison. He lives over here, and I was off for Tuesdays and Wednesdays. He was off Wednesdays and Thursdays. And so I had a finger skateboard that I had in my work bag. And I was like, oh, yeah, I used to be really good at skateboarding. And he was like, yeah, right, man. I was like, dude, I got a board. Meet me at the park on Wednesday. And so we went to the skate park just so I could prove myself. You know, dude, I'm in a whole different body now. Like, that was before the Army. I was good enough to where this shop in New Jersey, Flip and Grind, they were looking to sponsor me. Because I'm doing kickflip frontside board slides on these rails, you know, like nose blunts and all this stuff. Like finger flip and like just like good tricks, man. And only getting better. So anyway, we go there, man. I was like 150 pounds back then. And then now I'm like 195 at this time. I'm like trying to board slide rails. And when I'm, dude, yeah, I beefed it a couple times. It hurt, dude. It hurt. Because that was like 20 years ago. And so anyway, yeah, so it became like this thing. So every Wednesday, me and him, and he had three sons rather at the time, that he would bring over to the skate park. Dude, I made it 4 times. My 4th time, I fell and broke and dislocated my ankle, not even being airborne. Wow. So on the medication, yeah, dude, they gave me medication. They put me on hydrocodone, which I don't do drugs and I don't drink or anything. So when I took hydrocodone, dude, that was my first time ever being high. I couldn't, when I tell you, like, when I was on that stuff, I didn't care about anything. I care about my friends and my family, of course, but it was like an emotional it was like an emotional wreck. And I told this to Canibus too when I met him in LA.
Right, we'll get that in a minute.
Yeah. So I was like, anything that would make me happy or sad, I would just start crying. Like, I lost all control of like emotions and stuff. Wow. Yeah, and then I didn't care about anything. I couldn't focus on anything except dishwashers. So I would watch YouTube videos of dishwashers and how they work. And that's when I was on hydrocodone, that's the only thing that would hold my attention. I had to get off that stuff, man. It's not for me.
That's nuts.
So I told you that to tell you this. After like the blood thinners and everything like that, like I was like so miserable and depressed all the time, dude. And I couldn't figure out why. I had money. I have people that love me. I'm married, happily married, but my wife's overseas because we had to wait for this long process of immigration, dude. She's from Pakistan.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it took 3 years, dude, from marriage to get her over here. So anyway, we were trying to figure out, like, what the heck is going on? And so my friend Lance, he was like, you better get your hormones tested, man, because you've got everything. There's no reason for you to be depressed. So I did, and it turns out that what we were able to figure out was all this medication from my broken ankle had given me an hormone imbalance. So then I went to a steroid doctor, not a real doctor. I don't have a primary care. I went to a steroid doctor. He did my blood work. He was like, you don't drink, you don't do drugs. I'm like, no. He's like, well, your kidney and liver are excellent. We'll give you whatever you want. I was like, oh, okay. Like, give me some of this, like, well, this is what I want to do. And so he was like, well, we can give you this. He gave me Test and Winstrol and estrogen blockers and Dinclone. Now, the Winstrol was a little bit extra. And it's like, it had something to do with like fast twitch muscle fibers and everything. And then the Test was like increasing your natural personality, Dude, I became like so impulsive, I quit my job to become a rapper. So wow. That's what happened. Yeah, and the Winstrol, me, normally, I'm such an open and friendly guy and everything like that, like you're experiencing, but the Winstrol gave me roid rage. I had to get off of that. And it like made my skin really oily and stuff like that, so I had to get off of the Winstrol. There's other like stories that aren't as interesting that are based on that, like I couldn't control myself from yelling at people. Wow. It was like fucked up, dude. Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend that. The Winstrol was like, they say it's more painful to inject that, and it takes like a long process, so I got it sublingual. So the Test I would inject, and I took some, I was injecting myself before I did the music video for Bottom of the Barrel, which was probably the reason that it came out so crazy. And then the Winstrol was taken sublingual, and so it's liver toxic if you do it that way. And so that was good for me to get off it anyway. It was just wild, man. I've never done anything like that before in my life, but I'm off everything now.
Hey, that's good, man. You said that you made
you can edit this as much as you want, all right?
Yeah, that's fine, man. That's fine. I mean, I'm letting you go. You have the freedom to speak. You know what I mean?
I do tend to ramble.
No, that's okay. You just mentioned...
You got that when I did 80 bars, 100 bars, and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah. You just said that it was like an impulse decision to where you just pursued rapping. So with that being said, were you always into rap, or did it just come up one day like, oh, I like this, I'm going to go pursue this?
No, man, I didn't, man. When I grew up, I was really into like West Coast thrash metal. It started off with Metallica. That was my gateway drug. Got into Megadeth, Slayer. Megadeth is still my favorite band. They're retiring with this last album. Then I really got into, and it just kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier. Death metal. I got into black metal. Almost joined the Church of Satan, and then like quickly became Christian. That was a whole different story. Yeah. Yeah, and then kept on with like the New York hardcore, like bands like Propane. I really like them. There's some other ones too. I'm not exactly sure where they're from, Madball. But then I got into hip hop. My friend got me into Insane Clown Posse when I was in El Paso, Texas.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I got some of that, going. And then my other friend, Peter, he had this like mixtape CD of like a whole bunch of different rap stuff. And we would listen to it when we went to go look for UFOs at Roswell,
Yeah, Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wrote the name on the CD because it was blank. I wrote Thuggish Beats because I didn't know what it was. But then we started getting into it, man. Like Celly Cell and some other guys that got me into KRS-One. And then we discovered Immortal Technique together, like listening, because we were into the conspiracy theories at the time too. And that's how it kind of happened. I think I had it was a song I heard. It was KRS-One, Zach from Rage Against the Machine, and I think Immortal Technique, all in one track, and that's how I kind of like branched out from there. And what I liked about hip hop was the stuff that I was listening to was so aggressive. It had some of the same spirit from like thrash metal and all that,
Right.
Yeah. So then like the Immortal Technique got me into Diabolic. And then I found Canibus later on. I knew some people that tried to get me into Canibus, when I went back to New York. And I was like, oh, man, I don't do drugs. I'm not going to listen to that, I was freaking wrong, dude. I did not know what I was talking about, clearly. Canibus is my favorite rapper of all time. Biggest influence on hip-hop, like on my hip-hop experience. So there's been many that led me in there, but Canibus kind of like took the reins when it came to like lyricism and stuff like that. And when I listen to a lot of other hip hop, like nowadays and stuff like that, I'm approaching it like the same way that I would with metal, right? Because I listen to heavy metal and I understand the technicalities before that because I started playing guitar. I started playing drums. I know what's easy and what's not. And I'm like, listen to some other bands, and I'm like, man, what they're doing is easy. Like, I don't respect that. And now when I listen to certain hip hop, I'm like, man, that's easy. It's just rhyming like fifth grade level, dude. Dog, frog, for example. And I'm like, yeah, I just don't respect that. So I like the hardcore, East Coast style of hip hop, and then the West Coast kind of style of thrash metal.
Okay, I like that. So you said you're from Leavenworth County, Kansas City?
Yeah. Right, that's where I'm at right now. It's outside of Kansas City.
So for the people who are unaware of where that's at or what it's like to be from there, could you kind of walk us through how rap maybe influences the area, or is there like a rap scene out there?
Yeah, man, there is. So Kansas City is like dominated by strange music.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, much respect to those guys. I can't rap that fast. I don't have the ability to like chop like that. It could probably come with practice, but I really like what I'm doing at this time, which is focusing on like hardcore rhymes and punchlines, And so anyway, over here in Leavenworth is the oldest city in Kansas. I'm just south of that. So there's like, it's dilapidated, dude. It's dilapidated. Yeah, it's in the Midwest, but I mean, there's like the stuff that you would see people struggling with in ghettos is very close to what we have over here. Mixed race and everything like that. But like poverty, crime, drug addicts. We have like 5 prisons over here. Like this whole town is just like a prison town. And the fort's over here. But the fort has its own prisons,
Right.
But other than that, man, I mean, it's much more relaxed than New York. Everyone seems to be approachable, a little bit of selfishness, when people are running red lights and putting you and your family at risk.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's I'm in an area that's just very relaxed, and I'm very thankful for that. There's plenty of parking, which is what we talked about, with the Subaru. We couldn't even park it, outside of my house. There's nowhere to go. So I have to bought this car and paying $1,000, a month, and I have to park it 2 blocks away.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
no longer have those kind of issues. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say. My wife isn't a big fan just because the whole neighborhood goes to bed at 8 o'clock at night. I'm part of that neighborhood, dude. I'm out. I'm up early, go to the gym, and get the day started.
Okay. You have a song called Leavenworth's Worst with you
Yes.
and 2 other artists.
Yes.
I just wanted to talk about that music video for a little bit, man. So
Okay.
not just that music video, but you seem very animated. Like you would expect someone with your type of style to just be like straight up, like very nonchalant, like not doing much. But like I see you like busting dance moves and like acting and stuff. Like I thought that was interesting that you did that. I wouldn't never expected that. But another thing I wanted to talk about with that music video was there's a scene where I don't know if this is real or if it's like fake, but that I'm assuming that dude's a juggler, the dude that has like the face paint.
Barney.
Did he really staple that dollar bill on his forehead?
Yes. Not only that, he does that at my shows live.
So he just staples money to his head.
He stapled money, Rorschach stickers, and that's how like he and I actually became friends. I used to be like a heavy smoker, and then I went into vaping to get off the cigarettes, and then oh man, that was like a whole different type of addiction. So I'm off of this now too, but like I couldn't stop vaping, dude. And so I met Carney at the vape shop. He used to work over there, and he had he got into one of my Bars Behind Bars CDs. I still have physical copies autographed and stuff like that. I have a few left. But, like he and I started talking about the music. He was like, dude, I see potential in you, blah, 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 blah. And we just became friends. And then he started going to my shows and running my merch table where I had shirts, CDs, and stuff like that, stickers and all that. And then it went from that to him coming up on stage during certain interludes, where I'm spitting on the mic and stuff like that. And he'll start taking stuff from the audience and just start stapling it to his face.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
we first did that. Yeah, so I opened up for Afro Man in Kansas City. I don't remember the month. It might have been a couple years ago, but yeah, he was doing it on there, and we got really good footage of it. So when I say like Rorschach has the best fans, like dude, my fans become my friends, man. I'm very happy with this, you know. But yes, he does staple it to his face. Yes.
That's crazy. That's unheard of almost. But he's a juggalo, is he?
Oh yeah, he loves that stuff.
He
Yeah,
loves the juggalo scene. Can you kind of
absolutely.
like explain people, because a lot of people who are heavily into hip hop, especially today, they it's almost like the juggalos are the outcast of hip hop. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But in
yeah.
the Midwest, you guys have a different view of them. Could you explain to people like the influence that the juggalos have within your guys' communities?
Yeah, so everything uh how do I say this? There's always subgenres of any type of music. I had discussed about how like you have like rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and then within heavy metal you have thrash metal, death metal, black metal, you have Viking metal, you have all that stuff, right? Subgenres. And not everybody's gonna be a fan of the other. And the more mainstream stuff, like Megadeth sold like millions of CDs in their career, but it still has like a small fan base compared to like mainstream metal as a whole. Like I don't hear Megadeth being played on the radio really that much. And really it's only from like Symphony of Destruction. Even Metallica, they still play Enter Sandman and all that stuff, but they don't really play some of their new stuff or really much of their old stuff because it's like it's more niche, if that
Anisha.
makes sense. So when it comes to the Juggalos, they like started by Insane Clown Posse. They created their own like subgenre of hip hop that was like influenced by horrorcore and other like guys in the Detroit scene, where they created their own culture, man. Their own face paint designs, their own like basically it's like they have their own what's that called? Like a fantasy uh sphere, where they have the dark carnival and this means this and these words mean this and this group is this and this group is they have different names for everything.
So they have
And
like their own
everybody's welcome.
culture. It's like a own
Yeah,
subculture within the culture.
right. They've created that own thing. So you'll have like hip hop, and then you'll have like battle rap over here, and then like some hardcore. Then you got like the Juggalos over here doing their own thing. And sometimes those cultures will overlap. Like we have strange music with Tech Nine. There was a lot of overlap on that. But the Juggalo scene is like your family, man. Like if you're accepted as the Juggalo, like you become family. I can't speak for absolutely everything because I know Method Man didn't have a good experience when he went over to perform at Gathering of the Juggalos. So like even though like I'm cool with them, I gotta prove myself so that they're gonna be cool with me if I get up on stage.
Right. But
Yeah,
from my understanding, it's because when we talk about the East Coast and the West Coast and the South, like the Juggalos don't get mentioned like that. But to
right.
you guys in the Midwest, it's like you guys see them more often. So it's what I'm really trying to
Yeah,
say is it's almost as if like we neglect them on the East and West Coast, but you guys are
yeah.
like normal being along with them. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you think about, let's say, Slipknot, Iowa, they're from Iowa, right? And they went on there with the masks and everything, and everyone thought that was kind of crazy, but their music and stuff was so good, it ended up like taking over a little bit. And I don't think, and I know, and remember, they had major labels. ICP was so isolated that they had to start their own label. So for them to like get radio play and stuff like that, I think like I can't really speak too much on it. I'm not like in that whole circle so much. Like I never met Shaggy, I never met Violent J. I did meet DJ Clay and Hex. Um, but yeah, man, I mean it's just kind of like the Midwest is outcast, and so we're gonna be attracted to the outcast music,
Right.
I guess, you know. When you go to, so my wife will tell you this too. People over here don't dress up. When I was in New York, everybody was in fashion for the most part. And so like they're in the they're like in the in. They're the cool kids, you know. Over here, we're kind of just kind of like middle class, like Midwesterners. I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't really know how to explain it. I'm glad you asked me that question because it gives me something to think about that I haven't really developed a thought pattern or a thought line. So I really got to explore that mentally a little bit more. But I mean, that's the best answer I can give you right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the difference of cultures. I feel like you're the closest to anybody I've uh, spoken to on that topic. You give me insight on that stuff because I don't know people like that in the Midwest. So it was kind of
Right.
refreshing to hear. You know what I mean? But
Okay.
let's talk about DJ. Was it DJ Clay? Is that his name?
Yeah, DJ Clay.
Yeah. Tell the people about how you met him and what that came out like. What came out of that?
Right. So a lot of juggalos have shows in Topeka, Kansas, and that's the capital of Kansas. It would be about a 55 to an hour drive west for me. And I had an opportunity because I had a good relationship with some of the promoters down there, and it was like, hey, you want to open up for DJ Clay? I said, yeah. And so DJ Clay DJs for the Insane Clown Posse, and he does his own thing. He's done a lot of albums with them where he remixed things, and I highly recommend it because not only is the music great, his lyrics are catchy, and man, his live shows, it was one of the best shows that I've seen, dude. It was one of the best shows. He would start what we call juggalo jump offs, and then like drop the beat, and then like everyone starts moshing and stuff. But Carney was there, and you seen Carney. Carney's a big motherfucker, dude. So like people are moshing, but like no one's moshing with him because they're scared of him. And so like he's like getting, I'm on video, man. He's getting in a little bit, but like everyone, like no one's fucking with him. It was really cool, man. But yeah, so DJ Clay was already on tour DJing for Shaggy Two Dope. Shaggy Two Dope had some independent projects that he was doing, and they had a show in Dallas, Texas, in which I don't know all the details, but I was on the phone with the promoter just going over something. I asked him, I ask a lot of questions, respectfully, of course, try not to waste their time and everything. But yeah, he was like, hey, look, I don't know if this show's going to happen because DJ Clay's DJing over there. I'm trying to get him up here. He don't know if he can make it in his schedule for whatever reason. And I was like, look, man, we got to make this happen. I already had sold so many tickets. I got commitments for everybody coming. And I was like, what can we do? And so because Topeka's here and I live over here 55 minutes this way, there were no flights. So I was like, look, let's get him a hotel because I already had a hotel booked, and I'll take him over to Kansas City and we'll get him a flight that way. And so we ended up working that out, and it saved the whole show. It was awesome, dude. And it's still like one of my fondest memories of performing. Yeah, so I got to spend like about 55 minutes with DJ Clay, just driving him back to the airport, and he listened to some of my music, and he was like, dude, the production is amazing. Like, it caught him off guard. Usually it's like some random dude's like, oh, check out my stuff. You think it's going to be like not well mixed or, like right, whatever. But he was like really impressed with it, and that meant a lot to me. So I got a picture with him at the airport. We went our separate ways. I still got his number. I'm assuming he didn't change it, but I haven't had to like hit him up for anything yet, But that doesn't mean I won't in the future.
Hey, it's a blessing to have connections, man. It's super dope you're able to work with people like that. But let's switch lanes real quick. When and how did you meet the almighty M80?
Okay, so yeah, good question. I can't really remember exactly 100% of how this happened, but I remember I'm a huge fan of Canibus, and I think I saw them doing like a live concert or something like that, and M80 was in the background, and I think I just found some tags and then got to like figure out who he was. I'm struggling to remember, but yeah, dude, I hit him up for a consultation, and I let him listen to the tracks that I had at the time, which was just Filthy Buck 50. My first song I ever wrote and recorded was Filthy Buck 50. And then I had Sick Kicks. And so, yeah, listened to that and loved it. And I asked him like, oh, well, I want to get a shout out from Canibus, because Filthy Buck 50 at the time was like 64 bars. And then I was like, hey, is it cool if I could get a shout out from Canibus? Him being like my biggest influence on this and everything. He's like the gold standard, man, of lyricism for me. And Diabolic is like a really close second, man. But so what ended up happening was we got off the phone, and he got me back, and he was like, "Yo, would you want to go 100 bars with Canibus?" And I was like, "Absolutely, dude, absolutely." And so that's when I wrote everything that I had, and I had already, because I always, if I think of something, I write it down, or I'll text it to myself, so I never forget the rhyme, I never forget the punchline, I never forget the chorus that I'm writing, you know. And at the time, I was going for that whole album, or EP rather, Bars Behind Bars. There's like practically no choruses, dude, because I'm not thinking that way. All I want to do is just rip shit to shreds, you know. And I got the choruses. I did struggle with writing choruses for the first like couple of years that I've been doing this. And then I don't know, man, I just kind of clicked, and now I got some really, really catchy stuff. And I think you might have heard some of it. But yeah, so he was like, "Yo, sorry, you got off subject a little bit, but yeah," M80 was like, "Yo, we'll go 100 bars, and he'll, you come out to his private studio session in LA." I was blown away, dude. And so went on over there, ended up hiring M80 as the A&R, and yeah, dude, I was in LA, hanging out with Canibus, and he's telling all his stories, you know, and everyone was super cool. I met Body Bag Ben, Kali Ranks. Man, I feel like Iron Sheik I met, and I might have met a few others, and I'm sorry if I forgot them, but that was a couple of years ago. I used to compete in Taekwondo tournaments and got kicked in the head a lot. I did a lot of kicking too, but I struggle sometimes with memory.
So that was the first time you met Canibus, was in LA?
Yeah, that was the first time and the only time I ever met him, yeah.
First and only time, so in person. Have you ever spoke to him like off, like in, like through the internet or?
Yeah, so I had sent him an email when I bought the rights to Self-Licking Ice Cream Cone, which was, there's a lot of drama behind this one, man. Yeah. And dude, and I talked to M80 about this because I talked to him, I was like, "Look, man, I'm buying this, and my plan was to do like a remix of it, like switch up the beats and everything like that." So like everybody else was like, nobody's owed any residuals or royalties from this. They've been paid up front, and like they're good to go, right? So now it's like I can kind of do whatever I want, minus a few features that aren't going to be I'm not able to use on a remixed album. For contracts, I don't understand. But yeah, dude, I had sent him an email, and some dude called me. He was sending me like these weird like encoded messages on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and he was like, "Yo, Canibus got your email, like blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "All right, you know, like." I don't remember off the top of my head what it was said, but it was like there was like only like two things, right? And then he started calling me, but he's calling me when my family was visiting because we were all like going to watch Cobra Kai. The new season of Cobra Kai came out, and so this was like at that time when like M80 and him had to split. So I told M80, I was like, "Are you cool if I just send him an email because I bought this? I don't want him to talk shit, you know." And like not have his blessing if he's going to talk shit on this project, and then what's the, you know, I didn't know what was going to happen. He was like, "Yeah, man, I don't care what you do." All right, so he was like, and he's like, "Everyone's going to talk shit and blah 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 blah," 100% true. Yeah, so this guy called me, man, and I didn't recognize the name or nothing. I don't know who this guy is. He was like, "Yo, Apollo Vision, look me up." I'm like, "I'm not going to look you up, dude." And so he was saying like a whole bunch of like crazy shit. He was saying that M80. And M80 put this on his Instagram story just recently because I talked to him about it for the first time. Because back then, I didn't want to add too much fuel to the fire. We already had that discussion, you know, on the phone the other day. He was like saying that, strongly implying that M80 was taking fucking life insurance policies out and then like going to try to get people killed, including Canibus. And I'm like, I told him, I was like, "What life insurance policy, dude? Like where? What, from what company?" He goes, "Well, I don't know." "Well, you saw the document. You said you saw the document. What's the name on the document? Call them and try to figure this out." But it was like all paranoid delusions this guy is telling me, right? And so anyway, I was like, "Yeah, listen, man, tell Canibus he can call my phone anytime. You know, I think he still has my number from when I gave it to him in LA, but then I never heard from him. And I guess they gave this guy Elvis Polo Vision or whatever his name was, the rights in that private Canibus group on Facebook and had deleted M80 and Rorshax from that group. So I don't know, man. But yeah, that's to answer your story. You know, like I kind of tumbled down like a whole bunch of different things.
Do you currently have a relationship with Canibus?
Not at the time, man. I always wish him well all the time, dude. Always. Never talking shit.
Okay. What about M80? How's your guys' relationship like outside of like, you know, work?
Oh, dude, I mean, like, we don't really have a close relationship. It's pretty much just a working relationship if I need something done, you know? Like, he was able to get me features. He was able to get me contracts. And yeah, man, I mean, like, I work with him and Crumbzilla. He sent me with Crumbzilla. I work more with Crumbzilla because that was part of, like, the whole agreement. Anyway, I worked mostly with Crumbzilla. He dropped on, he's an amazing rapper, dude. Guns for Hire. And so we kind of, like, just work things out. Now, there's not like a whole lot of relationship because I've been taking so long with this project. That's on me, dude. You know, there's a lot of shit going on in life. I haven't written anything for like 8 months. And this was like 3 months ago. It's been like 8 months since I wrote anything. So I'm doing other stuff and I'm distracted, you know? And so anyway, got the album, Last Will and Testament. So rap metal album produced by ZZE Pole. You guys do not understand. Well, you might, because I sent you some stuff. But the rest of the world needs to understand that this is such an amazing project in which I really tried to combine my two favorite things, like we talked about, East Coast hardcore, West Coast thrash, into one. And I want to say it might be like a little bit similar to Body Count, Ice-T's Body Count, but it's like a little more lyrically dense, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's coming up, and we're going to be finishing I already talked to M80 about it. We're going to be finishing the contracts, getting it all out ready for distribution. I got to like do a little bit more mixing and mastering. There's one track I might have to go back and touch up some vocals, you know, because I don't really feel a certain way about certain things, but my fans and like some of my family that have listened to it, they're like, we don't hear what you're hearing, we don't hear the problem. But for some reason I do. And so I don't know, I might have to go dip that, but it shouldn't be too much longer.
Okay, I mean, you have artist ear. You know what I mean? Every artist has that way they hear something. You know, I understand, but you know, hopefully you get that out soon, man. Okay. Canibus, really quick. You guys have a record called The Final Test. How did that all come along to be?
Yeah, so that all came along because I either wanted him. I'm struggling over here because this was a few years ago. So I was going to have him on Filthy Buck 50, or because I had already started writing 100 bars. And I think it was that, man. I think I was already writing 100 bars, and I had stuck in my head one of my favorite Canibus albums was Mic Club. And he has a track on there where he says, if you got 100 bars, then I know you're a warrior. And so the idea was that he would bless off on, yeah, that's what it was. The idea was that he would come off and like bless off on me being a warrior because I got 100 bars. And then M80's like, yo, I'll let him, he will write you 100 bars, you know, and you'll both have it. I was like, oh shit. So I took that one immediately.
Wow. Let's talk about the new stuff you have coming out. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but I'm assuming this is on the next project you have coming out. Which I mean, do you want the song with DMX?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's on the next project. Yeah. Hey man, I'm gonna let you take it from here. Tell the people what to expect and what it's called.
Okay, so you heard that. I sent you that. You listened to it, right?
Correct.
What'd you think of it?
Dude, it was amazing. The production was amazing. It felt like DMX was right next to you, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. Dude, shout out to M80 for hooking that up. All right, so here's what happened with that. I was like just now, because I always thought like, oh, I want to combine hardcore rap and hardcore metal, right? And then like, but I didn't have like the producers or whatever. I didn't know of anybody that was able to like really bring it together. But that guy, man, ZZE Pole, who I thought he was from Poland, but it turns out it's just Lopez backwards because his name is Lopez. He's in Spain. He's from Colombia, though. I think it was Colombia. He'll correct me. But I'll send him this when it's done. This guy just nailed it, dude. This guy did like the beats consistently for rap metal. Like, and he was just knocking it out of the park. He's super easy to work with, communicating with him and stuff like that. And I was talking to Crumbzilla, and we were talking about this band or this rap group from England or the UK or something called Rhyme Asylum. And Rhyme Asylum, if you haven't heard them, are lethal lyricists. Lethal. And so I was like, well, shoot, man, I want to see if I can, like get on a caliber like that. And so that's when I came up with the line, I'll snatch the eye of the tiger out of its socket, And so, like, when I was thinking of Eye of the Tiger, I was, like, thinking of Rocky, and I was like, oh, like, Rocky slaughters punchlines. I slaughter punchlines like meat on hooks in Rocky, like, from Rocky 1. I think it's from, like, 79 or something like that. And snatch the Eye of the Tiger out of its socket. And then so I just went with that theme. Like, all I'm doing is punchlines, 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 going through it, fighting, right? And so that's when the hook comes in. Jab, cross, hook, got you on the ground, ain't a good look. And then at the end it said, you think pound for pound, the strongest dog in the fight, right? And so going through all this, there was a lot of points where I was like, oh, I could hype it up right here. There's a little interlude in which I have like some of my other bars and punchlines in the past, and Canibus did that on 2000 BC. So I got to where I got it from. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, man, if DMX were alive, which my old supervisor when I was in the Army Reserves, he was a White Plains PD. He hit DMX with the Narcan, brought him back to life. I forget what year that was. But since then, he had passed. And DMX was one of my favorite rappers. I was like, dang, if he were alive, I'd be like, he'd 100% be the strongest dog in the fight, And I hit up M80 and I was like, is it possible that you have anything from DMX that I might be able to use? For this project, because M80 really likes this project. It's called Pound for Pound. That's what the track is called, Pound for Pound.
Okay.
He really liked that one. He was like, I need you to make that over and over and over again. I said, yes, sir. Sometimes I might have fallen short and I had to go back, and redo it. But, I was like, is there anything for DMX? And so he was like, yeah, let me get back to you. And so he sent me this file that had like a whole bunch of, because if DMX were alive, I'd want like some of his real stuff, exclusively for this track. But we don't have that option, unfortunately. So he had sent me like a whole bunch of different files. And so what I did was I went down and I went through timestamps, right? This file has him saying this at this time, and I basically just scribed it all out so that it's easy to reference where's what he's saying what, And I took all those files and I sent it to ZZ, and I was like, hey man, why don't you, because I was busy at work doing other lyrics and stuff like that, and I don't want to do two things at once, so I could focus on this. I was like, why don't you just go and like take this and hype up the track with ad-libs and stuff like that from here. And I had everything scribed out. ZZ put them all in and sent it back. And that's what we have with Pound for Pound that you said it was so good, man.
Yeah,
that's how that happened.
I enjoyed it a lot.
There's a music video for it that I recorded like a year ago. I think I recorded that song like 2 years ago, dude. And I've been sitting on it. I've been sitting on a few others. Now I'm like sitting on the album. And I got analysis paralysis, bro. Analysis paralysis. It means that I'm thinking so much and I want this to be so successful that I'm not moving, But really, I just got to squeeze the trigger on it. So I put a little rule for myself. Let me focus on getting this one song so that I'm pleased with how it sounds. And then we're going to finalize the mix, have M80 and Crumbzilla take a listen, go with the master, and then just get it out. Because, dude, people love it, man. People love it. Like, I let people listen to it, like, even though on the phone audio, because I have it on my phone, it's not the best speakers, but they're like, yo, I would put this playlist immediately. This song, another song like Captain John Birch, like, I get a lot of great praise for it. I just got to get it out, dude. I'm in analysis paralysis, dude. So I got to stop. I got to knock off the nonsense and just go for it.
Yeah, just
because
go
I'm confident
for it, man.
In the music. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Do you think you have an estimated like time arrival for your album?
these things cost money, dude. And I'm kind of like in between jobs, man. That's the thing. Shoot, I want to say it's only April. I could have it out by the end of this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I can have it out by the end of this year. I want to say in the next 3 months, to be truthful. That's what I want to say, but I don't want to give false hope.
Right. No, that's fine. That's fine. But we should anticipate a new album from you. There's at least something to look forward to when it comes to your music.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, so what was your favorite part? You're welcome to play some of it for the people.
Of which one? The tracks you sent me?
Pound for pound, like, because that was the one that we were talking about.
Yeah. Dude, I think, oh, man, it's hard to say because, my bad.
Uh-oh.
Nah, so like I think it's just the sound. So like I'm a big person of how like because I like listening to music like this with like actual headphones. So like I love hearing like ad libs and everything, like hearing instruments in the background, like that. That to me is what captivates me as a listener. So like it's hard for me to really say because there was a part where when DMX came in, I was like, hold up, is that? I was like, first I was like, is that DMX? I let it slide. I let it go through, but then I was like, hold on, man, this sounds crazy. I was like, so it kept going. I was like, dude, this sounds like he's right there. Like I was so impressed by the sound, bro. It was Thank good.
You. Because I didn't tell you that he was on it.
No, you didn't. I thought it was like I don't know if you've seen it where like people will grab like a verse from an artist and they'll make like their own fake remix. When I read the title, I kind of thought that's what it was, but then I was like, it can't be that. This sounds too good to be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I took it, honestly.
Yeah. No AI was used in that. Just so that we're clear. Like this is officially licensed. Like M80 got it. Like his DMX estate has been paid. I'm assuming because he got the licenses and everything for it. So, yeah, no AI. This is as good as I could get it with his unfortunate passing, man. And like even in the music video, like right in the beginning, I put R.I.P. DMX. You got to pay homage, dude, because he was a huge inspiration to me as well. You know.
Right. If you could give a message to people who may catch you for the first time, who are unfamiliar with your music, what would you let them know?
I would say I do everything in my power to give you the best and most memorable experience possible. You know, whether that's going to be coming to my shows. I want you to see the stage presence. I want you to see I want everybody to get their money's worth, man. And I want to leave them with a lasting impression. I go over that in the song Scar Tissue, where I talk about how I'm going to give you scar tissue. It's a gruesome way of saying it, kind of like twisted. You know, that song is actually pretty twisted. But what I'm saying is I don't want to be forgotten. I want to give you something to remember me by. And so, like I said, I give you scar tissue, that's how that came along. And really, man, it's just I want to be remembered, and I want to be remembered for the right reasons, of course. Just being somebody that really dedicated it to the craft and that gave you really memorable bars. A lot of I've been complimented for having so many quotables, and they're densely packed. So people tell me, like, I got to listen to your song. Like, I listened to it 50 times and I heard something I haven't heard the first 49, right. Or caught something. And so that's what I want to give somebody is replayability and something that's going to leave a lasting impression.
I can see where they come from when they talk about the quotables, because I look at songs like Bottom of the Barrel, and like I think what it is with you, it's obviously what you say, but it's also how you say it. You know what I mean? And I think your delivery makes some of the things you say like memorable. So yeah, I can see where they come from when they say that. But
yeah, that one was densely packed. That was densely packed. Yeah, man. Shoot, man, it's been a while since I listened to that one. But I remember Yeshua is my savior. I don't have false idols, but I'll wage jihad on the false god of my rivals.
Yes.
No one could ever do a better job than God did, but my success was so impressive, even the Prophet Muhammad applauded. Like, dude, there's some dope lines in there, man.
That's what I'm saying.
There's some dope lines in there. I can't remember them all. Like,
at this point, you got a catalog. You have a catalog, you know. And
thanks, man.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. Before we wrap this up, do you have anything else you want to say or talk about? A message to the people?
Go for it. If you are not happy with the music that's being broadcast, take the time, put in the effort, and make it yourself. That's my approach to something. And it's not that anyone else, I'm not saying anyone else is trash. I'm just saying that there's like a hunger for a certain type of music in me that isn't being fed. And so I'm creating my own food to feed myself. So definitely go out there. I want to hear intelligent, hip hop. Sometimes I like to do some dumb stuff, man. I say some like wild dumb shit. Like I was like, I got this track coming out. This one was kind of like, just being blunt and just kind of like just being grimy for the sake of being grimy. So I just wanted to try it out. I say, there's a trail of blood. I'm here to have fun. You damn cunts, soak it in like tampons. Lace up your and-ones at barefoot slam dunks and honey buns booty clap like handguns. And I go on like that, right? I go down there and I'm saying all this wild shit. But but I'm having like so much fun without trying to cross the line, and say anything like sacrilege or like, like too like unforgivable, you know what I mean? But dude, go out there. I want everybody to just chase greatness. Yeah, you might have hip hop and you say, but like I want you to chase greatness. People have said that I try too hard, but I take that as a compliment. I want you to know I am trying hard to make sure you're getting your money's worth, that you're getting your time's worth, that your energy is not being wasted. And I don't want your time being wasted. I want to give you the best quality hip hop and rap metal now that's imaginable. I want to like create something so good that I want people to try and mimic this because I want to see what's going to happen. This is the kind of music I want to listen to. So you, whoever in the Midwest, East Coast, West Coast, wherever, London, China, like let's hear what you got. I'm excited for it.
That was Rorshax, everybody. Rorshax.
Yeah, I need another 2-3 hours, dude. I talk too much, man.
Nah, I understand, maybe in the future. But for now, we all thank you. And we'll catch you on the next one, man. I appreciate you.
Before you go, man. Yo, I don't know if you guys got to see this.
Oh, ATF is gay. What did I say? Guns for hire?
Yeah, that's a Guns for Hire badge right over here.
Okay.
Custom. Rorshax Chromezilla.
Check out the merch page. I'll make sure to put that on the screen.
Right. Thanks, man. Oh, what'd you think of the, because you had Pound for Pound with DMX. What'd you think of the Lone Wolf Shooter heavy metal remix?
Oh, that one was crazy, bro. That one was
Wasn't
crazy.
It so much better? That's the way it was. I feel like that's how it was meant to be.
Here's the thing. Here's how I look at that one. The Lone Wolf Shooter, I think that one comes down to preference, but I like both styles. But that was crazy. The one that you sent me, that one sounded crazy. I think that one I feel like if you have an appreciation for rock music, you're gonna love the second version so much more. But if you have more of the hip hop eyesight, you're gonna go with the original. But they're both great for their own reasons.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man.
Of course. All right, Rorshax. It's nice talking to you, man. Yes, sir.
All right, peace out.